If you want to apologize to somebody and you want to be with them, what would you do? You'd say nice things, you'd be happy, you'd be kind. But Harry has come out with
Charles's Prince Harry dilemma has got even worse.
What if I told you the most devastating blow in the royal family wasn't delivered with angry words or public accusations, but with silence? When Prince Harry walked into Clarence House to meet his father, King Charles, he carried a list of demands that would make even the most entitled celebrity blush. But when he left, reportedly in tears, he had received something unexpected, a lesson in power that would change everything. The king didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. With quiet resolve, Charles had finally outplayed his son at a game Harry never understood he was losing.
Palace yesterday that could potentially see more change to the Harry situation.
This is really intriguing. I haven't actually seen any discussion of this at all, but it was noted in the court circular, the official record of events, that King Charles...
Make no mistake, this confrontation was never about family healing. This was about power, legitimacy, and the currency of royal connection. For years, we've watched the Sussex strategy unfold. Leave the institution, attack it publicly, then attempt to maintain just enough royal connection to keep their brand valuable. It's been a delicate balancing act. Criticize the monarchy while simultaneously benefiting from its glow. The battlefield wasn't Buckingham Palace. It wasn't even the court of public opinion. The real contest was over something far more valuable. Who controls access to royal legitimacy?
You have also been hearing of some of these demands that Prince Harry is apparently making. And you've often spoken of these demands, you know, an apology, particular treatment of...
Harry and Meghan need that royal connection. It's the lifeblood of their brand. Without it, they're just another celebrity couple in Montecito with failing ventures and dwindling relevance. Charles, meanwhile, needed to establish that the monarchy doesn't negotiate with those who abandon their duties. This wasn't just about a father saying no to his son. This was institutional power demonstrating that royal privilege comes with a price: service. The turning point came when Harry reportedly presented his demands: full security for his family, press coordination from the palace, royal accommodations during UK visits, and perhaps most audaciously for Meghan to be treated as Her Royal Highness with all the bows and curtsies that entails.
As for his father. Mind you, Prince Harry has shanked his family, done a tell-all book, docuseries, and turned on them, and even did a sit-down interview with Oprah where he accused them of racism.
But Harry fundamentally misunderstood the game. He thought he was negotiating from a position of strength, the king's son seeking reasonable accommodations. What he failed to grasp was that each Netflix special, each Oprah interview, each memoir revelation had systematically destroyed his leverage. Charles, seasoned by decades of royal politics, recognized something Harry didn't: silence is power.
Negotiate and have demands. Here are some of his demands: full security for himself and his family, press control that will be coordinated by Buckingham Palace, and finally, for his wife Meghan Markle to be treated as Her Royal Highness, complete with bows.
The king, who spent years rebuilding his own reputation after the Diana years, had learned the hard way that public perception is everything. He understood what Harry never grasped. The monarchy's strength lies not in accommodation, but in consistency. By demanding special treatment while simultaneously attacking the institution, Harry had created an impossible contradiction.
To be number 2 in terms of popularity on YouGov polls within the whole of the British Isles and in the Commonwealth. Now he's plummeted. He's only right just above Prince Andrew. So he's got to do something to get back in the social graces of King Charles, to help his star, to be able to actually sell books or do whatever.
Charles saw that granting these demands wouldn't bring Harry back into the fold. It would simply validate a dangerous precedent: that royal privileges can be separated from royal duties, that royal status can be leveraged for personal gain, that the institution could be both criticized and utilized simultaneously. So instead of arguing, instead of negotiating, Charles simply refused. And that refusal changed everything.
Meeting between Prince Harry and King Charles, which was long confused because some sources believe she was there, was because she has told the king that she will not forgive either Prince Harry or...
What followed was a masterclass in institutional power. The palace didn't issue angry statements. They didn't engage in a point-by-point rebuttal. They simply let the news of Harry's demands leak to the press in carefully measured doses. Each revelation made Harry appear more entitled, more disconnected from reality. full security details when he's no longer a working royal, accommodations in royal residences after publicly criticizing those who live there, palace press coordination after accusing them of feeding negative stories. Each demand, when exposed to public scrutiny, looked increasingly absurd. Meanwhile, William, once Harry's closest ally, reportedly reinforced his father's position. Palace sources indicated that William saw his father's stance as not just appropriate but necessary. The future king was sending a clear message: the monarchy would no longer bend to emotional manipulation. Even Queen Camilla, often the target of Harry's thinly veiled criticism, reportedly told Charles she would not forgive either Harry or Meghan. The united front was complete. The strategy was brilliant in its simplicity. By refusing Harry without drama, without public statements, Charles denied the Sussexes the oxygen of controversy. There was no new grievance to spin, no rejection to frame as cruelty, just the cold reality of consequence. The public reaction was telling. Instead of sympathy for Harry, there was fatigue. The victim narrative that once generated headlines now generated eye rolls. Charles's approval ratings reportedly rose, while Harry's reputation continued its downward spiral. The true humiliation wasn't just that Charles said no, it was that the refusal exposed the fundamental weakness in Harry and Meghan's entire strategy. Their brand depends entirely on royal adjacency. Without that connection, their value proposition collapses. Spotify has already walked away. Netflix is reportedly cooling. Hollywood isn't interested in Meghan the actress or Harry the polo player. They want the royal drama, the insider access, the connection to an institution that Harry keeps claiming he wants distance from. This creates an impossible contradiction at the heart of their brand. They need the very institution they've spent years criticizing. Every interview, every memoir chapter, every documentary that attacks the monarchy simultaneously devalues the only thing making them relevant. Charles understood this contradiction. By refusing Harry's demands, he wasn't just saying no to a list of privileges. He was cutting off the oxygen to their entire business model. The most devastating moment reportedly came when Harry realized his father wouldn't budge. Sources suggest he left their meeting in tears, having walked in confident that paternal affection would eventually override institutional concerns. Instead, he encountered not his father, but his king. The California bubble had left Harry woefully unprepared for this reality. In Montecito, surrounded by yes-men and Hollywood sycophants, the Sussexes had convinced themselves they were global humanitarian icons whose royal connection was merely incidental to their fame. Charles's firm boundary shattered that illusion completely. What made this humiliation complete was that it happened behind closed doors. There was no public spectacle for Harry to reframe, no dramatic confrontation to spin into another tale of royal cruelty, just the quiet dignity of institutional resolve against individual entitlement. The monarchy had finally stopped playing defense and started playing chess. In this power struggle, Charles emerged as the clear victor, but at significant personal cost. By choosing the institution over his son's demands, Charles demonstrated that the crown comes before family feeling. It was a painful but necessary choice that reaffirmed the monarchy's fundamental principle: duty first. With a single refusal, he reset the terms of engagement with the Sussexes and reasserted control over royal access and legitimacy. For Harry, the defeat was comprehensive. He not only failed to secure the privileges he sought, but inadvertently revealed the desperation behind his strategy. The tears reportedly shed after meeting his father weren't just about personal rejection. They represented the collapse of a carefully constructed narrative. The costs for the Sussexes extend far beyond wounded pride. Without royal access, their brand faces an existential threat. Each failed venture, from Spotify podcasts to Meghan's lifestyle products, exposes their dependency on royal connection. Their Netflix deal, rumored to be their financial lifeline, depends on delivering content that viewers want to see. Without fresh royal drama, what do they have to offer? William, meanwhile, strengthened his position as future king by standing firmly with his father. Sources say he viewed Charles's boundary setting as not just appropriate, but essential to protecting the institution they've both pledged to serve. The heir's uncompromising stance signals how he might handle similar challenges when he eventually wears the crown. Perhaps most tellingly, the British public largely supported Charles's decision. After years of Sussex drama, poll numbers suggest people are exhausted by the endless controversy. By refusing to engage in public spectacle, Charles aligned himself with this sentiment perfectly. His silent strength contrasted sharply with Harry's perceived entitlement. The cruel irony is that Harry's demand for special treatment has only further diminished his remaining royal status. Each time he attempts to leverage his birthright for personal benefit, he erodes the very thing giving him value. This royal chess match will reshape the monarchy's approach to dissident members for generations to come. Charles has established a precedent that will long outlast this particular family drama. Future royals considering a similar exit strategy will now understand the true cost of walking away. The half-in, half-out approach attempted by the Sussexes has been definitively rejected. For William, this represents a template for his own reign. By watching his father navigate this crisis with resolve rather than emotion, he's received a masterclass in institutional management. When he eventually sits on the throne, he'll carry this lesson. The monarchy survives by maintaining its boundaries, not by accommodating its critics. The Sussex brand now faces a critical inflection point. Without royal access, they must either reinvent themselves entirely or fade into celebrity irrelevance. Their initial strategy, leveraging royal connections while criticizing the institution, is no longer viable. The question becomes whether they have the skill or vision to create value without the royal affiliation they've simultaneously rejected and depended upon. Media coverage of the monarchy will also transform. By refusing to engage in public drama, Charles has deprived tabloids of the royal versus Sussex narrative that generated reliable headlines. Instead, the focus returns to working royals and their service, exactly what the institution prefers. Perhaps most significantly, this moment marks the end of the monarchy's defensive posture. For years, the palace response to Sussex accusations was carefully measured, always concerned about appearing cold or uncaring. That caution has now been replaced by quiet confidence. The institution has rediscovered its greatest strength, the ability to simply carry on, unchanged by passing storms. We're witnessing not just a father refusing his son, but an institution redefining its relationship with those who leave its service. The message is clear. Royal privilege is earned through royal duty. There is no third way. This royal drama reveals a universal truth about power and legitimacy that extends far beyond palace walls. In your own life, when someone attempts to retain the benefits of a relationship they've publicly rejected, recognize it for what it is: a fundamental contradiction that cannot be sustained. Real power lies not in accommodation, but in maintaining consistent boundaries. The Sussex strategy failed because it violated a principle that applies equally to institutions and individuals. You cannot simultaneously attack a system while demanding its privileges. Each criticism of the monarchy made their continued dependence on royal status more untenable. Each demand for special treatment undermined their claims of seeking independence. Charles's response demonstrates that true authority doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need public drama or emotional displays. It simply needs to stand firm on principle, allowing consequences to unfold naturally. When you hold legitimate power, silence often speaks louder than any statement. Remember this: in any negotiation, the person who needs the relationship least holds the strongest position. The Sussexes needed royal connection far more than the monarchy needed them. This fundamental imbalance determined the outcome before the first demand was ever made. The next time you watch a power struggle unfold, whether in your workplace, family, or public life, look beyond the emotional drama to identify who truly holds leverage. Usually, it's the party that can walk away without losing what they value most. In the end, this isn't just about royalty. It's about understanding that in any relationship, mutual benefit requires mutual respect, and no amount of Hollywood glitz or media spin can change that fundamental reality.